Today I will be examining California's Proposition 227 and Proposition 58 in comparison to each other. Proposition 227 was passed in 1998, while Proposition 58 was passed in 2016. The two propositions are closely related to each other as they both address English language learners in California public schools. So, Proposition 227, also known as English language education for immigrant children, required that California public schools had to teach limited English proficiency or LEP students in special classes that were basically taught in all English. So the exact wording can be found in Article 2, Section 305, which says that all children in California public schools shall be taught English by being taught in English. And this proposition aimed to restrict bilingual education programs in the state with limited exceptions. All the students had to be placed in English language classrooms unless the parents requested a waiver and provided evidence on their child's special needs. And so the main goal of this proposition was to address how bilingual education failed to aid with the academic performance of immigrant children. In Article 1, Clause D, it was stated that the public schools of California currently do a poor job of educating immigrant children, wasting financial resources on costly experimental language programs whose failure over the past 2 decades is demonstrated by current high dropout rates and low English literacy levels of many immigrant children. But on the other hand, Proposition 58, the California Education for a Global Economy, repealed many of the provisions of Proposition 227 and allowed for more flexibility in teaching English language learners. So the proposition's main focus was to, quote, delete sheltered English immersion requirement and waiver provisions, and it would instead provide that school districts and county officers of education shall, at a minimum, provide English learners with a structured English immersion program as specified. And so the bill would authorize parents or legal guardians of students enrolled in the school to choose a language acquisition program that will best suit their child. And so it also allows schools to implement bilingual programs and provide instruction in English and another language. And so this is known as the dual language immersion program. And with this approach, LEP students were allowed to maintain their native language while learning English. And so while both the propositions aim to address the issue of English language learners in California schools, they did have different approaches to the problem, because Proposition 227 emphasized the importance of English proficiency and sought to restrict bilingual education programs, while Proposition 58 recognized the importance of bilingualism and provided much more flexibility in teaching English language learners, and it embraced bilingual education programs. And so ultimately, Proposition 227 was repealed by Proposition 58 and has been in effect ever since.